So guys, welcome back to the channel, Keith at Crypto Bullseye. Now, one thing that I don't often do on this channel is talk about myself and talk about my journey through crypto and how I've ended up where I am today, guys. And trust me, where I am today is not where I want to be. It's definitely not where I want to be, but I've made those steps and I've made that progress over the last 4 years to develop myself and understand exactly how markets work and how I can take advantage of markets and how I aim to take advantage of the next bull run. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show you exactly how I got into crypto by going through the Bitcoin chart so you can see exactly my life during the course of the Bitcoin cycle, and exactly how I played it, my mistakes that I made along the way, and the things that I did right along the way, and how I ended up where I am today. Okay, so this is going back in time, and this is my journey in time using the Bitcoin chart to tell you my journey. So going back here, one thing happened, guys. This was before I got into crypto. This is before, well, I knew about Bitcoin, but I didn't know much about Bitcoin. I didn't know what it was, what it did, how it works, or I didn't know or understand how it was going to take over the world at this point. So one thing happened during this point here. I became a manager. I became a manager for the first time in my career, and I made a step up during my career, had a nice pay rise. And then we had something that happened. We were all locked down and we went through a process of something that we hadn't gone through before. I had the stress of all the new job, as well as all the lockdown, all the not being able to go out, all the psychology that's happening with the change in technology, the working at home, the looking after other people. And it just caused nothing but stress, guys. It made me feel like I needed a way out. And crypto, I didn't know that the crypto was my way out at the time. And it might not be my way out. I'm not successful. I've still got to play it right, guys. I'm still on my journey, but I've made steps and steps that I'm really happy with, that I feel like that I've got the best possible chance that I can give myself to be successful during the next bull run, as long as I play it right and as long as I stick to my thesis. So we've seen what happened here, guys. This was a significant time in Bitcoin. We had a drop because of the lockdowns, because of everything, of 65%. Now, once you get a capitulation to the downside, I didn't know anything about this, didn't know anything about charting at the time. Once you get a capitulation to the downside, you get a big buy up and then you get a de-escalation. Things are going to be not as bad as what we initially thought. So you got the big buy up on Bitcoin. Now, this is where I started getting interested in crypto. Now, why did I start getting interested in crypto, guys? I was stressed. I was at home. I was working late hours. I was constantly working. I felt claustrophobic. Me and my girlfriend were just sat there doing absolutely nothing for the whole time during lockdown. And I needed something else. What did I turn to, guys? The British government at the time, they weren't stopping cannabis from going through the post. So I went online and I tried to buy some. The only way that I could buy some was with Bitcoin. So I had to try and understand how I could purchase Bitcoin. So I went onto an app and I purchased Bitcoin, and I think they charged me about 20% transaction fee for purchasing Bitcoin. And I spent $100 in Bitcoin, or £100 into Bitcoin. And then one thing happened. I tried to buy it and I purchased it, come through the post, happy days. A couple of weeks later, let's purchase some more. So what I did then is I put another £100 into that wallet. They charged me 20% transaction fee. Didn't do anything with it, but I woke up the next morning and it had doubled. The actual money had doubled. So I ended up paying half price for the thing that I wanted to buy. So I was buzzing with that. And I'd done it again, and exactly the same thing happened again. And that's when I first started realizing that something that I've got here is going up in value, and it's going up in value significantly. And I didn't understand that we were starting a new bull run. And that's when I started watching YouTube. So I started watching YouTube, and that thing that I was using to buy, to invest into that asset, that was something that could probably cost me a couple of grand now, guys, because it was really early on down here when I didn't understand. And then I started looking into cryptocurrency. First place that I went, guys, YouTube. What was the most significant YouTuber at the time? It was BitBoy, guys. And I remember him showing me the charts. And I remember him saying, Bitcoin cycles last every 4 years. This is when I first understood or first heard about the 4-year cycle. Bitcoin cycles last 4 years, he said. He said the Bitcoin cycle, I'm pretty sure it was 9th of September. He said the Bitcoin cycle is going to end on the 9th of September on that day, and it's going to end at 300,000. And that completely blew my mind. I thought, how does this guy know this from looking at a chart, looking at the cycles, and knowing exactly what date it's going to end, and to know exactly what price it's going to end? So, guys, we all know that that was complete complete bull crap. So this is where I started to understand that I'd love to be able to do this kind of thing. I'd love to be able to understand a price chart myself and help identify how I can get opportunities. So that's where I started looking into trading courses. And I went on to two different trading courses, both cryptocurrency trading courses. During this point around here, I went on about two different cryptocurrency trading courses, and then I started learning chart analysis. However, the crypto courses that I was going on were moon boys. They were saying that you're going to make all this money during crypto. You can follow this strategy. It's a bulletproof strategy. If you follow this strategy, you're going to be a millionaire. Everybody that's on this course is going to be a millionaire. And those two courses pretty much said the same thing. I'm not going to mention what they are. So then I'm a realist, guys. When I look at something, I need to understand answers. I want and understand how it works, and I want to back test to find out if that thing that they're telling us works did actually work in the past. And when you start realizing that the thing that they're telling you doesn't actually work, you start painting a picture yourself and understanding most of the crypto courses out there that they're teaching you certain things, giving you that magic strategy, isn't a magic strategy. So I delved deeper, guys, and I went to a more credible course, which was a lot more expensive. It was a lot more of a longer time span, but they were more realistic. And unfortunately, it wasn't a crypto course, it was a Forex course. And they taught you that it didn't matter what market that you were in, as long as you were in a market, markets behave the same because markets are driven by human sentiment, human emotions, support and resistance, and sentiment at the time, whether the market's being stimulated with liquidity or whether liquidity is being pulled out the market due to inflation. And they taught you one thing as well, guys. There was no magic strategy. They give you a couple of strategies. They told you to go and back test those strategies, but there was no magic strategy. Unfortunately, every single person's different and every single person can't follow the same strategy. And I'll tell you why that is, guys. Going off kilt again here, but this is my story. Tell you why everyone can't follow the same strategy. You've got 10 different people and you've got a strategy that works on the daily time frame or the 4-hour time frame or the 2-hour time frame. Those 10, 20, or however many individuals can't be on the price chart for whatever circumstance at exactly the same time to be able to take exactly the same trades during that time at that time. So that means that every single person is different and somebody has to do, each person has to figure out what strategy is best for them. And the one thing that you can do is ask yourself, how many times can you be at a chart at any given time? And that's going to help you identify what's your time frame analysis going to be. Is it going to be a longer time frame analysis, i.e. investing for a longer time frame horizon, or is it going to be a shorter time frame, swing trading for the midterm, or day trading for the short term? You might be scalping. You need to understand, do you want to be at the charts for a long period of time? Do you not want to be at the charts for a long period of time? And you need to build a strategy around that. We can work on that together, guys, in future videos. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do something like that. And let me know in the comments if you're liking these videos, guys. I've tried to change it up a little bit. So this is where I started getting invested into the bull market. I was learning, but this course, guys, lasts a long time. So I was developing, I was using strategies, I was trying to figure out what it is and what type of trader that I was. So I'm a support and resistance trader, guys. I work at support and resistance. I prefer following the trend because I've got a higher probability of doing that. I'm not greedy and I'm not shooting for extensions. I'm usually shooting for previous highs when I'm doing my trading. When I'm doing my investing, and you've got to have a different mindset with investing. When I'm doing my investing, I'm leaving it for a longer time frame horizon, and then I'm looking to take profits during the course of that time frame horizon by scaling out. So this is where I really started getting into the bull run, guys. But I didn't know what I was getting into. So I was putting $20 and I was putting $30. My $20 and my $30, and this is Bitcoin, guys. My $20 and my $30 was going into thousands. And when I was into something, I remember crypto.com. I was into crypto.com and I had a reward scheme. And that reward scheme had about $80 of cash back that I had. And that $80 of cash back went to $4,000. So I was starting to believe in this. I wondered why all my capital was going up, and I was riding this wave during the course of euphoria, during the course of thrill, all these exciting times during the bull run. But I was only invested a little bit down here. So by the time I'd got to the top, my capital wasn't a huge amount, guys. It wasn't a huge amount. Then we had this, the second part of the bull run. So I had my allocation of capital up here. One thing you've got to remember, guys, this is Bitcoin. We had a pullback on Bitcoin. We had a deeper pullback on altcoins. The altcoin swing was bigger, and the second altcoin swing was much larger. That's where we got euphoria. That's where it was all extreme, and that's where all the gains were made. So we had the pullback in Bitcoin. Now, what did I do with the capital that I had up here? I was one of these people, guys. Hadn't finished the trading course, didn't fully understand markets, hadn't delved into macro, didn't understand the way that cycles worked. I held it for the pullback. Now, this was where people thought that we were going to have a bear market and this bull market was going to finish early. And we had a long accumulation phase down here. Now, one thing that happens that I've learned now that I didn't know then, the reason why they say sell in May, walk away is for one reason. That's when institutions come out of the market and they go on a trading holiday. When institutions come out of the market, traders come out of the market and they go on holiday, the professionals. What does that do, guys? If they're not trading, it brings liquidity out the market. They close the positions here and they come back here. So we started the second leg of the crypto bull run. Started the second leg of the crypto bull run, and this is where the excitement started again, and this is where the altcoins really started pumping. When I'm saying really started pumping, guys, my gains went up and they went up and they went up, but I wasn't hugely invested in it at this time. So I'd come up, and at this point, I'd learned quite a lot during this period, guys. I'd learned like quite a lot, but I hadn't been through all of the cycles, hadn't been through all the emotions. I've been through bull markets now, been through the accumulation phase, which is the boring phase, and I've been through the bear market, and I'm ready, set for the new bull market. So something happened during this point, and I was constantly educating myself within the crypto space at this point, whether it was trading, there was coding, there was blockchain, there was smart contracts. I was teaching myself about everything that I could, and that's my obsessive compulsive disorder, guys. Something was happening at this point that made me shaky. And there's something that was happening at this point, and I'll tell you exactly what it was. This is playing it real time, and I remember this like it was yesterday, guys. So if I just pull up this and get rid of that, something was happening at this point, and I remember like it was yesterday. Stick it on the weekly chart. So this bearish divergence here, this was completely overextended. This was completely overextended. And one thing that I remember at this point, when the RSI put in this weekly bearish divergence, one thing that I remember is Elon Musk was selling Tesla shares. Then I heard that Jeff Bezos was selling Amazon shares, and that played in line with what I was understanding with macro cycles, because the smart money understand that you need a cool off. The smart money know that when the market's over leveraged, you need to pull back. And for them to sell shares that are high, that means that they can accumulate those shares at lower levels. So we've got a bearish divergence on the weekly on the Bitcoin chart, and we've got the higher high on the actual chart. We've got Bezos selling his shares. We've got Musk selling his shares. So what I did at this point, guys, and this is where I thought that was a genius, and this is one of the probably the best moves that I made in crypto. I diversified and sold every single one of my altcoins, and I put it into Bitcoin, and I put it into dollars, and I put it into Ethereum. So I've got Ethereum, I've got Bitcoin, and I've got dollars. Now, if I'd have held my altcoins, all of my altcoin bag, I would have lost 98% of my value on my altcoins. But I didn't, guys. I kept Bitcoin, I kept Ethereum, and I kept dollars. Does that mean I'm a genius? No, it doesn't, guys. We all make mistakes, and I make mistakes the same as everybody else. Because what happened here during this pullback, here, you've got this here, and then you've got this pullback here. This was a higher low in comparison to that, and there could have been an extension to the upside. So what I did here, guys, this was at $40,000. The dollars that I'd accumulated here when I converted into Bitcoin and Ethereum and dollars, I bought back here at 40,000. So then I was all in. I was all in Bitcoin and I was all in Ethereum. I was mainly in Bitcoin, but I was all in Bitcoin and I was all in Ethereum. I thought I was a genius. I thought I was going to run the next leg up. I bought Bitcoin at 40,000, which is a lot cheaper than what it was up here at 69,000. Then what happened? Bear market. Put in the lower high, and then we rode the bear market. So I bought Bitcoin at 40,000 with the rest of the allocation of my assets with the dollars. And then Bitcoin went all the way down to 15,000. So I bought at 40 and it went down to 15,000. And guess what, guys? I only had a limited amount of capital that had accumulated elsewhere to be able to take advantage of 15,000. So did I buy the bottom? Yeah, I did buy the bottom, guys. I didn't buy enough of the bottom. I had a small allocation at the bottom. but I had a small allocation here as well, and I had a small allocation here as well. And I had an even bigger allocation here with the dollars from what I sold here. So we all make mistakes, guys, but we've got to learn from the mistakes. And then this brings us on to the next step. Because I was all in Bitcoin, guys, we've got the Bitcoin bull run, which started in January 2023, that nobody took advantage of because everybody was out of the market. People were holding their bags of altcoins, waiting for the next cycle, thinking that they can recoup the capital back in the next cycle with their bag of alts, where a lot of them are going to go to zero. So this is one positive for me, is I got to run this cycle, guys. I got to run this from the 1st of June because I was heavily in Bitcoin at this point. During this cycle here, during this part here, I was building. And at this point around here, this is where I started the YouTube channel, guys, because as I said in my last video, nobody believed in me. I wanted to be part of a community where we can actually learn together. I wanted to be part of a community where I could talk to somebody that's got the same interests and the same beliefs as what I've got. And that's why I started my YouTube channel in the midst of a bear market, guys, to be able to give my community the best possible chance of accumulating during this build phase before the next run. Now, that's Bitcoin. That's Bitcoin. One thing that you're going to find with the altcoin market is the altcoins are still down here during this build phase. Bitcoin's run. Dominance has gone up to 60%. And when dominance starts cooling off and starts pulling back, when dominance pulls back, that's going to give us an indication that the alts are going to start outperforming Bitcoin. And that tells us one thing: bull run's confirmed. People have got confidence. They want to go out of an asset that they've already got so much gains from and rotate that asset into something that's going to give them bigger gains and let that altcoin season start. So that's from where I was, guys, to where I am now during the course of this cycle. And I want you to continue my journey with me by subscribing to the channel and let me know if you do enjoy this change of content, because I've tried to change things up a little bit. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.